Hi, my name is Mary Thomas. I'm a physical therapist in Dallas, Texas, and I wanted to share with you what I call the how of your lymphatic system. So the why is my lymphatic system important? And there are a lot of details on why it's important. Suffice it to say, in this video, I'm just going to talk about it's important because the why is that your lymphatic system acts as the garbage collectors for your entire body. The lymph system is a one-way fluid transport system, meaning it only takes fluid from out to in or from out to in being your heart. So when we can, and technically my heart's over here, I know that, but we have to we can help and support our lymphatic system. When it's feeling sluggish, when it's not working well, it can be because we are chronically dehydrated. You need to drink half your body weight in fluid ounces every day, which that means if you weigh 140, it's 70 ounces. If you weigh 190, it's 80 ounces. If you have an occupation where you are physically moving or you're in a hot environment, you probably need to increase that by 20 to 30 ounces more than half your body weight. Okay? So and caffeine beverages, any beverage with caffeine counts against you because caffeine is a diuretic and it actually adds to your dehydration. So it becomes very, very valuable to look at what you're drinking and how much you're drinking and track it because it makes a huge difference in how well your lymphatic system is going to function and how easy it is to do some of the things I'm going to instruct you in doing right now. So again, this is a how video, not a why. There is going to be a why video, so you can watch that later if you are somebody who wants to know the why. But I will tell you, the lymphatic system can really, really improve your health. Anytime you have an itis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, colonitis, headaches really aren't put with an itis, but they're really inflammation, usually in your head or neck. And so when you have these inflammations, it's toxins that have accumulated in a specific area that you're like, now I have pain because they've accumulated to the point all that trash is built up. And we're going to learn how to get rid of it by using your lymphatic system. So let's get started. So here's my collarbone. I have a lot of muscles, so I have to kind of poke them up there. So you put your fingertips. When we do lymphatics, it's always about the broad flat hand or the padded parts of my fingers. I'm not going to dig with my fingertips. I'm going to use a padded part here, and then we're going to use these parts of the hand so that we don't cause any injury to the body. Another thing is we don't cause pain. If you're getting pain, you're doing it too hard. So you need to back out and do it with a little bit more ease and gentleness. The other thing is there's two really important things to know. One is pressure, which is light for the, yeah, it's really pretty light. And I'll tell you if it's going to be a little more firm. And the other one is direction. So actually my heart's over here because the video does it backwards. So with my heart, I want to go in that direction. Okay, so if I'm always going to go in that direction with my stretch, I am not going to go away from the heart. And if you follow that principle, you'll be okay with your lymphatic system. So again, here's my collarbones. I'm going to put my padded parts of my finger on the collarbone and I'm rolling up. So you see how I went up and in and over the top of my collarbone. So I'm going to do just a gentle stretch of the skin on top of the tissue underneath. So gentle stretch down and in. Now when I say down and in, I'm going down and inside my body. I just made that movement big so you could see it. On my body, I'm obviously not going to. So you feel a little depression above the collarbone. I'm going to stretch down and in. Now, how many times do I do this? 10, 20? I do it by feel. So one of the things I want you to notice as you're doing this, and do it with me, is how firm are my tissues? Are they responding? How far can I stretch my skin? How far does it stretch? Now, this very first time that you're doing it, you're getting to know what's happening. So it's not like there's a wrong or a right, or it should be this far or it should be that far. It's going to become a comparison from one session to the next. And so I've literally done this on hundreds, maybe even thousands of people over the last 20 plus years. So, because I started studying lymph about 2000, so I guess that's 20, almost 23 years now. So when I'm coming in and I'm doing some gentle pressing up here, I'm noticing how it felt the last time I did this. I'm noticing if one side moves pretty well and the other side's like, it doesn't move very much. So if it's resisting my stretch, I want to go a little lighter. If I have one side that's like, this side doesn't move good and this side moves great, like there's a good stretch and it's easy, and this side's like, oh, a little stiff, lighten my pressure and do more strokes on the side that's resisting me. So I want to get the two sides as even as possible. And I want to get them to the point where it's like, yeah, they feel like there's some movement there. I can move the tissue, the skin, fairly easily on top of the tissue underneath. And even the muscle underneath here is becoming a little softer as I work on this. So you're going to basically do the same thing. And as you get to know your body, or you can do this on your partner, or your partner can do it on you, then you can start to get to know, what does normal feel like in my body? What does improvement feel like? Okay. And then you're going to compare this and know, yeah, I need some work, or hey, I'm doing great today. Okay. So see this muscle here that attaches down here and it goes up behind my ear. I'm going to stay behind that muscle. Okay. Really important to stay behind that muscle. Again, this is a how video, not a why. And how is stay behind the muscle. Maybe on the why video, I'll talk about why it's important. But for now, take my word for it. I promise I know what I'm doing. So do you notice how I start down here at the bottom? I'm opening up that pathway and I'm going up my neck. And I'm going to end up behind my ears. Why? Because that muscle attaches to my skull behind my ears. So, and you notice here I'm actually using the backs of my fingers, because it's really hard to dig into my tissues if I'm using the backs of my tissues. And so if I just do these little stretches, so I did several where I went up and stretched down. I'm always stretching down. So that's the direction. They're not circles. There's not back and forth, up and down. It's down, down, down. Now, it's okay to remain in contact with the skin if I go up, but there's no pressure. Zero pressure going up, pressure coming down, pressure coming down, pressure coming down. Okay, because I want to open up this pathway and come down into this area. I have a different video on the face, so if you want to get into the face, feel free to check out the YouTube channel, Move to Improve, and look for the facial video where I talk about the face. This one, I'm really going to focus on just getting the whole body flowing in general. So now I have this other muscle back here. It's a trapezius for those of you who want to know the names of this stuff. You don't have to know that. But it is this like ridge. So again, I start at the bottom, I stretch. I go up a little, 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 I stretch. So if you notice, my neck isn't turning bright red, and I have skin that turns bright red. I mean, I can scratch my neck and people are like, oh, what'd you do to your neck? Because it's so bright red. Because I won't be thinking about it because I'm not really doing lymph work then. And so you notice how my neck is not turning red. The pressure is a stretch. You can see how my the skin here. Let me get close to the camera. See how I'm stretching the skin? But I'm not digging on anything. That's the pressure that I'm using. So the skin, you can see how it moves, right? So lymphatics, you've got to have pressure. Just move the skin on top of the tissue underneath. Direction, the lymph is going to go up, right? Because it's got to get up here to my heart. I'll go over some more of that in a minute. But here at the neck, I want you just to go, okay, yeah, I can feel that pressure is light. I'm stretching the skin, and I really want to open up my neck. If all you have time to do is open up your neck, even if you feel like, but my knee is swollen, why would I just want to open up my neck, or why do I want to focus on my neck? Because 25% of your lymph vessels are contained between these two lines on your body. So when I open that up, it's like taking that giant dial on Back to the Future. I know I'm dating myself. Well, you've all seen it, right? So that giant dial where it turns up the volume that's so loud it blasts him back against the wall. Well, by opening up my neck, I'm actually turning up the volume on my entire lymphatic system. So if all I have time to do is drink my water and do my neck today, I can do that. And then tomorrow I might be able to do my whole body because, and my body will be doing better because I've already worked on my neck. Okay. So again, 15 to 20 strokes in the areas. The truth is, I almost never count because I do it by feel. But in the beginning, you might not be completely clear on what you're feeling. It's a learned skill and you can learn it. It just takes some repetition, right? You don't become a concert pianist after 2 weeks of piano lessons or even 4 years of piano lessons. So this is similar, that I'm learning how a new skill to feel in my body. Okay, so remember, broad flat hands. I'm stacking up my knuckles on top of each other because this keeps my hand broad and flat. In this particular one, we are going to use firm pressure. I'm above my belly button, so my hands are going to sink into my body right above my belly button and roll up towards here. Towards here. So your body actually has vessels. The lymphatic system is not like an airplane that can just fly all over the sky. The lymphatic system is like roads. We have to stay in the pathways. But if I stimulate this with some firm pressure, you can see I'm sinking in and then rolling up. Now, based on your height, you may have to be slightly below your belly button because you don't want to hit your xiphoid process. That bottom part of your rib cage is pretty uncomfortable. I'm going to use a good firm pressure, but I'm not going to cause pain. No pain. I really get annoyed with that whole no pain, no gain thing. No, this is really, truly no pain. We can get gain in the lymphatic system and we do not want to cause pain, okay? So I'm rolling up, and again, 10, 15, 20 times. I literally don't count. What I'm noticing is my abdomen getting softer. Like right now, I feel like I need to breathe. So I'm going to take real deep breaths way down here. Squeeze it in. Breathing is a great way to move lymph. But I got to breathe here, not here. This actually slows lymph. This speeds lymph up. So I'm going to do my breath. I know it's not the most attractive thing in the world, but most of you aren't going to do this on camera. Thankfully, right? I don't really love doing this, but I want to help you. So when I do those breaths, now my body is like, whew, I'm getting some balance. Sometimes patients have told me that when we get to this point, they'll be like, wow, I'm getting really lightheaded. It's okay. That might be all your body can like accept for today, because we are literally processing all this garbage that's been stuck in our tissue, and we've already increased the volume of trash we're processing. So it's okay to say, you know what, that's what I can do today, but you need to learn the rest of it too, right? So we're going to look at this inverted Y. We come down and we split. I'm going to move back just a little so you can see. This is called my inguinal line. It's where my thigh hooks to my pelvis. And there's literally a line there if you look at yourself in the mirror. And so we're going to put that flat of the hand. We're going to stack them up again. Put the flat of the hand here. We're going to sink into the body and roll up. Sink into the body and roll up. And you can do these activities laying down, by the way, but it's hard to record them laying down, so I'm doing them sitting up. So you can do them sitting up. You can do them in a recliner chair. I've even done them in a bathtub. Okay, then I come over here. So notice the Y shape. I'm coming in at diagonals, coming in towards my belly button, which is going to come up, right? Broad, flat hands, no digging. So earlier today when I was doing this on this side, I was like, yeah, that feels kind of congested. So what did I do? Lighten my pressure, do it more times, repeat it more times. So anytime you feel like, oh, that's really not moving, that feels yucky, then lighten my pressure, repeat more times. Possibly stop, do some breaths, and allow your body to process it because it will when we give it the proper support, right? So sink, bring it up. Sink, bring it up. Sink, bring it up. Sink, bring it up. So again, you can put me on pause and do this as many times as you feel like you need to, then you're going to breathe. Now I have another video on specifics for addressing stuck spots or difficult spots. So that video tells you if you're having a really stuck spot. It goes into some more detail about what do I do about that, right? Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good in here. When I exhale, I want to draw my abdomen this way. It's like wringing out a washcloth to help support my lymphatic movement. The better I have this moving, the better everything else is going to move my body. So I'm going to go down now to the thigh. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to use what I call grand hands, which in Spanish is like big hands. So I'm going to place my hands on my thigh, and you can see it's relaxed, right? Because my muscles are all wobbly. So I'm going to drag that skin up towards this area because this is where it's got to enter my body. So I'm just going to make these arcs. Now notice I start up here close to my inguinal line. Then I go a little bit below it. Then I go a little bit below that. And just doing this the twice that I've done it, I can already feel my calf like pulling the fluid out of there. Now you may not feel that, and that's okay because I've been doing this a lot of years and I've learned to pay attention to my body. You're learning a new skill, so give yourself a break. Just trust that it's happening, even if you can't feel it yet. Okay? So as I come into the knee, work on both sides, even though the fluid's coming up like this. So you're just going to make a bigger arc over here. Now, a place where fluid tends to collect is right above that kneecap, especially if you've had knee surgery, knee arthritis, knee injury, this little band right above the kneecap. So I put my fingers like this, like two little bird feet on a wire. And then I put my fingers above my kneecap and I stretch it up. Again, I'm stretching my skin on top of the tissue underneath, not digging on it. I'm kind of using the padded parts of my fingers, and I'm noticing how that feels. Now, let's say I feel a little ball of fluid right here. I'm going to go above. So ball of fluid, above. Then I'm going to pull above that ball of fluid up towards my groin. Why am I pulling that ball of fluid up? Why am I going above it? Because most people want to go like this on it. When I go like this on it, I'm literally just spreading it out because it needs to be absorbed into a lymphatic vessel. That's in the Y video. So I'm just dragging that up right above where that is because right above where the ball is, because as I drag it up, I'm creating a siphon and I'm pulling that up into my body cavity. So now, when I'm doing the knee, let's say I'm doing the back of the knee. So I can go around the kneecap just kind of like this. And I can even gently, and I mean gently, okay? People want to dig, and I'm like, no, don't dig. It's way better to be gentle. I'm putting my fingers kind of underneath my kneecap, and I'm gonna leave my knee just, and I'm just gonna just kind of shake it a little bit and lift the kneecap gently. Okay, you're not really gonna feel a lift unless you have a lot of experience and know what you're feeling, but it's okay. If you kind of just give it a little wiggle and kind of just help it go up, you're going to help open up some of that flow, and then you can do a circle around the kneecap and help pull that fluid out, and then do that space above the kneecap, okay? Now, I call this the scoop because we're going in behind the knee and we're gonna scoop it out. And again, I'm looking, are there any hard places? Are there any sore places? Sore, lighten pressure, more repetitions. Hard places, go above the hard place, light pressure, lots of repetitions, okay? So you can always pause me and do this. Now, the other thing is I'm going to demonstrate one leg because you can rewind me and watch it again and just do your other leg, okay? So, but the whole goal of this is to get the concepts down. So now I'm going to go down my calf. So I'm just gently pulling that skin of my calf up. Now let's say that I have a ridge around my leg. This is not uncommon, by the way, because we wear socks and sometimes we can get a ridge. So instead of digging on the ridge, I'm going to go above the ridge. So let's say the ridge is right here. So I'm above the ridge and I'm going to stretch that right above the ridge and open that up and draw that fluid up, but I'm not going to squish on the ridge. Why? Because remember, we're just going to spread out the fluid and it's all going to collect back there anyway. So it's not very effective. I'm going to come all the way down to my ankle, and the foot is another video. Why? Because there's a lot of detail in the foot with the toes, and at this point, even if you've done your leg really, really well with enough repetition, you are already pulling fluid out of that foot. I can feel it coming out of my foot. And again, even if you can't feel it, because in the beginning I could not feel it on myself, but I can feel it now. It's like a little kind of feeling, or yeah, it's like an energized feeling maybe, where my circulation in my foot's increasing, and then this little vibration feeling like the garbage is lining up and getting on the conveyor belt, moving out. And so, you know, and again, in the beginning, I wasn't really aware of that, but I certainly am now. So then I'm just going to come back up. I'm going to check my knee out, do a little scoop, do some stretches on my thigh. Why? I call this rinsing, because we opened it all up, and now we're coming back just to make sure that nothing got hung up or stuck, right? Because we don't want anything to get hung up or stuck. So I come back through the system. Ooh, I can feel it moving. Because right now this is a little congested, meaning I've got fluid in here. And when I push on it, I'm like, whew, lighten your pressure. Because I can feel the fluid coming up from my leg. So I'm going to go there for a few strokes and come up here. Oh, my neck feels really good. So the other thing we want to do is our armpit. Armpits are super important. I'm going to show you on this armpit. So I got the front wall of my armpit. Then I have the back wall of my armpit. And then I have the very center of my armpit. Let me get a little closer. I think you'll see it better. So there's the very center of my armpit. And you can feel like a little depression right there in the center. So the first thing I want to do is do some gentle little pushes into that depression. Now, when I was doing this a little while ago, like a day, it was actually quite sore coming down this line, which told me I was congested. So I worked on it, and today, at this time, it's much more soft and flowy feeling. So, yay, I got it opened up and flowing. So I want to make sure that that center part of my armpit is really, really moving the fluid. Then I'm going to come in behind this front wall of my armpit, and I'm going to go towards that area that I just opened up. Then I'm going to bring this back part in to where I just opened up. And I can do a few strokes on my arm because all the fluid in my arm is coming into that armpit. So it kind of comes down. Okay, then I would do the other armpit and open that up. And then again, I want the fluids are going to be coming like this, and then they're going to be coming up the arm. So notice back of the hand, I'm not digging on anything. I'm stretching the skin, bringing that fluid up. And again, the hands are a whole separate video. They're going to be a whole separate video because there's a lot of complexities, and it's really better if you have somebody else to help you with your hands and feet because it's hard to reach them on your feet, and they're complicated enough. It's good if you have two hands to work on one body part. So you can do your own foot, and I'll probably demonstrate that, but I'm probably going to borrow my friend's hand to do the hand video and then show you how you can do it on yourself if you want or need to. So then I can just move my hands generally to get that fluid flowing. Then I want to come back up to my neck and just do a few of these strokes to keep everything moving. Be sure you're drinking half your body weight in fluid ounces and that you're doing some movements like walking, breathing, because that also is hugely supportive for your lymphatic system and for healing. In the why video, I want you to know that I also talk about why ice is not your best choice to help support the lymphatic flow, and why using your lymphatic system and stimulating it is one of the absolute best things you can do to improve your immune system. So check out the why video on why it's important to support and facilitate lymph flow. Again, I'm Mary Thomas, physical therapist in Dallas, Texas, owner of Innovative Therapy and developer of the Body Power System. I'm excited that you watched this video, and I'd love to hear your comments.